What's up, you guys? Angelo at Mad Details here. Today we're working on a 2004 Subaru Forester. Not the dirtiest car I've seen from the exterior, but as you guys will see in the following clips, the interior is really nasty. A lot of mold, dog hair, debris, pretty much anything you can think of. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here's starting our pre-wash process. I'm going around all the wheels, tires, and wheel wells with a full strength degreaser. I'll continue to go around all the tires until they come out completely clean. Here I'm just taking my stiff bristle brush and going around the tire to make sure that there's no missed spots and getting all those tighter edges and grooves. So here I'm just using my acid-based wheel cleaner to break down some of that brake dust and dirt, and a variety of different wheel brushes to make sure I don't miss any spots. So once I finish up with the pre-wash phase, I'm going to go ahead and give it a final rinse down and hit it up with a heavy layer of foam to give this car a nice, deep, clean bath. Before moving on to cleaning some of the larger surface areas, I'm going to focus on cleaning some of the smaller surface areas by using a detail brush and just the foam that was applied through the foam cannon, just to make sure nothing gets overlooked with the wash mitt. So moving on to the wash process, here I'm just using a standard wash mitt with the 2-bucket method. If you guys are not familiar with the 2-bucket method, it's essentially 2 5-gallon buckets with grit guards in the bottom. You're gonna, to reduce cross-contamination, every 1 or 2 panels you're gonna revisit your clean water bucket, strain out and rinse out your mitt, dunk it back in your soapy water bucket, and then return back to the painted surfaces. So one important tip I want to share with you guys is anytime you're washing a car, you always want to start from the top and work your way down. You never want to start from the bottom of the vehicle and then work your way up. That just causes cross-contamination, and that's like the biggest cause of swirl marks and scratches. Something to keep in mind when washing. Pulling in a little closer, we had an iron contamination problem all over the paint since that front right wheel was just slinging up loose brake dust all over the paint. And to take care of it, I just used my iron decontamination spray, aka my wheel cleaner. So as you guys can see here, I'm actually refoaming the whole car, and I'm going to be using my foam as an active lubricant while cleaning the paint on the vehicle, just to remove some of those surface contaminants and some of those iron deposits that weren't removed with just a wheel cleaner alone. Okay, just take a second out and actually look at this clay. That was just from the hood alone. I can almost guarantee that this vehicle's probably never seen clay a day in its life. And I almost actually missed cleaning the fuel door and gas cap area, which is something I usually start with, but I got it at the end, so that's all that counts. Moving on to the drying process here, I'm using my Griot's Garage silk lined waffle weave towel. These do a phenomenal job just pretty much soaking up every last bit of water without having to go through multiple towels. Highly recommend this. I had this for over 1 year and it's still holding up really nicely. So to start off the interior detail, I'm just going to start by throwing away all the trash. Once all the garbage has been removed, I'm going to go around the vehicle with a nice thorough vacuum. So this is a big pet peeve of mine. I always see people starting their details off and not using any type of blower or compressed air. I mean, if you're pulling the seats out is one thing, but if you're not going to be pulling the seats out, definitely use some type of blower or compressed air to get in between the seats. You never know what kind of Cheetos, Cheerios, candies you're going to find in between those seats. So any place you can get to it with a vacuum, I highly recommend this step and blow it out with some type of air. Going over all the carpeted areas with the drill brush, and this is just to loosen up some of those fibers, get some of that deep embedded dirt to the surface and get it all vacuumed away. So here I'm showing you guys a few different tools you can use for pet hair. Here we got a lily brush, pretty popular tool, highly recommended, it's very cheap. Also got a standard pet hair brush I picked up from Chemical Guys like a year ago, and also have a pumice stone or pumice stone. Let me know in the comment section if I'm actually saying that right, because I really don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what I chose to use today on this carpet. It seemed to do about the best job and about the quickest. If you guys are interested in trying any of the tools or products I used in this video, I'm going to go ahead and pop some links in the description down below. So addressing one of the main issues of this detail, which was the mold issue underneath the rear chair. As you guys seen in the earlier clip, I did remove. So here to be cleaning it up, I'm going to use my all-purpose cleaner along with my McCulloch steamer and a variety of different brushes just to loosen up some of that gunk and mold, get it disinfected with the hot steam, and then use a couple of microfiber towels just to wipe it all away and get it all cleaned up. So let's get on to cleaning panels that have very stubborn dirt. This specific material that's on this panel was just holding on to, I don't know if it was just dirt or grease, but whatever it was, I had to use a very strong degreaser and heavily saturate. Now this isn't suitable in every case, but in this specific case, using heavy saturation and a variety of different brushes from soft bristle all the way to the stiffest bristle I own was the only thing that would get this thing clean. So I don't always recommend this method, but in this case it worked very well. So as you guys see here, I'm also using compressed air. Something I always do after heavy saturating. You don't want to have those ugly nasty drip marks of dirt coming out of those little cracks and crevices, so let's go over it with some compressed air. Step you can skip, but I don't recommend it. So as you guys seen here, I spend an abnormal amount of time on this specific part of the door panel for a poor result. If you look closely, you can still see some dirt lodged in there. So I went ahead and grabbed my stiff bristle brush, went over it a few times, and in no time made easy work of it and made it look just as good as new. So one precaution you guys should always take is when cleaning a dashboard, get a rag, stuff it over the cluster panel, make sure to cover that trip meter. You don't want to be spraying chemicals directly on there, then you end up staining the gauge cluster, and then you're going to have to take it all apart to wipe it all away, and then it's just a big hassle. So avoid doing that. Moving on to cleaning some of the leather. Here I'm using my Chemical Guys short bristle horsehair brush. Highly recommend this one, I've had it for a while. Also just using a standard detail brush, and I'm also going to be using my stiff bristle brush just to get some of the deeper embedded contaminants and dirt that's lodged in the leather that the soft bristle brush are kind of having a tough time getting out. Also I'm going to be using my pH balanced leather and vinyl cleaner. Since this vehicle did have a little bit of mold and mildew in the back seat, the smell kind of started lingering around the vehicle once I took it out, so I wanted to go ahead and disinfect any of the air vents and heat system that's been kind of blowing around all that mold. And if we're being honest here, it just looks awesome. So addressing the issue of the mildew that was in the back seat, I went in and took my McCulloch steamer and went over all the surface areas and seat belts just to ensure that there's no more bacteria lurking around the surface, and get it all nice and clean and mopped away with a nice clean microfiber towel. So for this detail, I'm going to be using a carpet solution diluted 10:1 in this pump sprayer, and I'm going to pre-treat all the carpet surfaces and then follow up with my drill brush. So using my drill brush here, I'm going to agitate those carpet fibers, get that deep embedded dirt to the surface and get it ready to get extracted. So here I'm only going to be using hot water just to ensure that I rinse all of that leftover solution out of the carpet. So moving on to the extraction process, here I'm going to be doing 50-50 passes, overlapping each time just to ensure that I don't have any missed spots, and I will go over it as many times as needed until I get that water completely clean. If you're enjoying the video so far, please go ahead and leave a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It just allows me to make more videos for you guys in the future and helps this channel grow. Also, if you guys don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, go ahead and hit that notification bell down below. Let me know down in the comment section below which part of the detail do you guys find most satisfying. For me personally, it's usually extracting, but just curious to know, what do you guys think? So I already had my steamer out, I decided to use it on the driver footwell just to get some of that lodged in dirt and get those fibers loosened to get it ready for extraction. So I'm going to pull the camera in to show you guys how much filth and dirt actually got extracted out of this carpet. And just the fact of knowing that I actually extracted all that filth out of these carpets is very satisfying. So gonna clean some of the door jambs here. Here I'm just using my APC with a detail brush and my steamer, followed up with a microfiber towel just to wipe it all away. we're going to be talking about top coats. Here I got Stoner Trim Shine, which is one of my all-time favorites. You can virtually find it anywhere. Goes on shiny, drives a very matte finish. And also I got 303 Aerospace Protectant. This is another awesome one. It's a classic, very popular. I use this pretty often, but for this specific vehicle I'm going to be using the Stoner Trim Shine. And as you guys see here, it goes on really shiny, but once it's wiped away, it drives a really dull, nice matte finish. So here I'm just going to be using some Stoner Invisible Glass, followed up with a waffle weave towel and a microfiber towel, just to ensure we don't have any streaks. So to treat the leather here, today we're going to be using some Griot's Garage leather care. I'm going to be applying it with a sponge applicator, just by applying a little bit at a time, kind of massaging it into the leather and then buffing it off with a microfiber towel to ensure we get a nice matte finish. Moving on to the paint polishing process, here I'm going to be using my Meguiar's D300 correction compound, followed up with my Rupes 21mm Mark II dual action polisher. So by no means is this a paint correction process. Here we're just trying to rejuvenate some of that old paint, bring some life back to it, make it look nice and presentable. So here to wipe this all away, I'm going to be using an edgeless microfiber towel I picked up from the Rag Company. These are awesome towels. I would definitely recommend giving these a look. So to restore some depth and gloss back into this old paint, we're going to be using some Meguiar's D301 finishing wax. This will do a great job of also adding a layer of protection, with this thing nice and ready for the winter. So to restore some clarity back to these headlights, I'm going to be using Meguiar's M100 compound and my porta cable with a microfiber cutting disc. On to trimming some of the exterior trim. So here I'm going to be using some 303 aerospace protectant, a microfiber applicator pad. This will do an awesome job of restoring some color back to that old faded trim and add a layer of protection and keep it protected from any UV rays in the future. It's also going to leave the trim with a nice deep matte finish.
Till I get up, time is barely
Bring some life back to this vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and pop off all 4 center caps and touch them up with some silver paint I match up from the auto parts store and get them looking brand new again.
leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go.
So here I'm just going to coat all the wheel wells with some rubberized undercoating. This will do a great job of protecting it from any future rust, road salts, and get it ready for winter and make it look nice and black and ready to go. Here I'm going to be using Griot's Garage Aerosol Tire Shine. This is going to give this detail that extra pop and add a nice deep rich shine back to the tires. So to finish off this detail, I'm going to be using some Meguiar's Ultimate Spray Wax along with a couple of microfiber polishing towels just to give this paint that extra pop and add another layer of protection and make sure there's no leftover compound or wax from the buff we did earlier in the detail. So just over 15 hours on this detail, and in the next clip you'll see the final result. Finish up the 04 Forester here, and if you guys liked the video, go ahead and leave a big thumbs up and also subscribe for my future videos, and comment down below what was your guys' favorite part. So I'll see you guys in the next one.